Hello friends! Today we are going to make a fun little home decor piece using this wood board I got at the Dollar Tree. I'll call it a cutting board, but I don't think it's actually a cutting board. It was just a decorative wood hanging piece, and it's in the shape of a wine bottle, and it had a wine phrase on it. So anyway, I just sanded that wood, most of that black phrase off, and I was happily surprised how easy it came off. And so now I am going to paint it in moss color chalk paint by Waverly, and I'll give it a good coat and dry it. And then I will get the edges and the other side and then put a second coat on this top part. It didn't quite get full coverage with the first coat, so it definitely needed a second coat. I love crafting with all these different cutting board shapes that are available. Now I'm going to use Adirondack white paint, and I'm going to get just the slightest little amount on my brush, and then I'm going to really dab it on some paper towel. Just really dry brush some white on this. Just making it look a little more weathered. You can see I'm just putting a light amount on so the green still shows. But you have to make sure you just have a mostly dry brush. It's very little paint on your brush. Just keep going until I get to where I like it. I didn't really want it even. I just want it kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, roughed up. Weathered is probably the best word. So now I'll give that a good quick dry, and there wasn't much on there, so it didn't take long to dry it. Now I'm going to use my little gator sander, and I still had some of the black powdery stuff on there, but that's okay. And I just given it a good sanding, light sanding, and blending it a little bit. Then I'll just wipe off that extra little powder, and saw some spots on the edges that still needed to be sanded. I got this little wood piece on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and it says, "Come gather at our table." And so I'm just going to paint it burnt umber. And I'll paint a little section, and then I'll grab a baby wipe and wipe it off. Excuse me. I'm just focusing on the top layer. I'm not going down to the edges or sides or anything. So here I am with my baby wipe, and I almost broke my wood piece right there on the H, that little thin part of wood that is there. I was a little too rough when I was using my baby wipe, and so thankfully I didn't break it in half. It still is attached. So now I just know I need to be a little bit more careful when I'm using my baby wipe. So here I'm doing another little section. Then I will do the same process with the baby wipe. Being a little more careful to hold those pieces. Thought this was a really cute phrase, and for 47 cents, you can't beat that. I was happy to find this on clearance. If you walk around Hobby Lobby, look for all the orange stickers. They have various clearance items in most departments, really. Last wipe with the baby wipe. So here I'm putting hot glue. I started to put hot glue all over. oh, whoops, not quite yet. I forgot I wanted to dry brush a little bit of white. So I'm using that same Adirondack white and just dry brushing all along the edges just to give it a little definition on each of the letters. Make that look a little weathered and rustic too. And here's where I'm hot gluing, and I took too much time putting hot glue all over it. By the time I got one end glued and got to the other end, the glue had dried. So I realized this just wasn't going to work. So I go off camera and I actually pick off the clumps of glue on the back, and it came off really easy. And I get my E6000 and I put that in random spots all over the back of it. And then when I'm ready to put it on the board, then I put a little hot glue on just, I think, one letter and just glue it onto the board. And again, I'm being real careful with where it's almost breaking on that letter H. So I'm just sitting it on there sideways, and this is going to be a decor piece that just sits on its side, obviously. Now I'm using some thinner twine, and I'm just going to hot glue it on the back there and go around it several times. I'll just glue and then wrap around 4, 5, 6 times, and then put a little bit more glue, go around and around. And I just keep doing that until I get the thickness that I want, the width. No set amount really, just till I thought it looked good. And just kept scooting the twine right next to the previous line of twine. I love twine and burlap and things like that. It gives it a real vintage, rustic kind of feel to your projects. So I just cut it off, put another dab of glue, and use something to push that little end piece down, and there we have it. Last thing I decided to do was grab one of my wood buttons. I have a wood heart, and I'm just going to fill that on there, or excuse me, glue that on the twine there at an angle. And then I'm grabbing some kind of a thicker macrame cord and just making a tie for that hole. And I'm going to tie it on there. And I just thought it looked just fine like that. You could put a bow, embellish it more if you wanted, but I thought in this case it just less was more. Just keep it simple. So there you have it. That is all for this project. I really appreciate you watching. Hope it inspires you to make something fun and creative today. And please like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much.